So, I just watched currently I'm watching a video titled SAO 2, 2 as in, I think it's two L's or maybe two I's, I don't know. Oh, excuse me. I just burped, sorry. SAO 2 is marginally better by Nightly with an exclamation mark at the end on YouTube. I'm currently watching that. Before that, I watched. Hold on. I watched a video of this dude reviewing all the manga that Kishimoto's brother wrote. Basically, the guy who made Naruto, his brother. He made Satan 666 or Opart's Hunter. Either they're both the same. They're both the same. They're both titled for the same manga, among like 4 or 5 others, I think. But one of the stories that he wrote was basically a play on Red Riding Hood, pretty much. But basically, everyone has either wolf or sheep thoughts. And then it just goes from the main character has like sheep thoughts, and then no, my bad. Everyone has wolf and sheep thoughts, and depending on which ones you have more up, or the more wolf thoughts you have, the more likely you are to turn into a monster thing that the main character defeats with the help of someone else. And the person that's helping him is a girl who has only sheep, or who only has wolf thoughts, so she needs to help the main character who has mostly sheep thoughts to balance her out, so on and so forth, right? But I got inspired by that and kind of just made out this entire like hierarchy of characters. I'm gonna tell you this, which then led to me making something else that's based on this thing that's in this fucking room right now. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's like this metal thing. I literally have no idea. It looks like it's just two arcs, or not arcs, but two arches. And there's like something else that goes. There's a smaller arch that goes in the opposite, like that's kind of flipped, but it's in the middle and it's smaller than the two bigger ones that are pointed upwards. And then there's like a base that holds all of it. But that gave me an idea, and I drew it out and then made like civilizations around it. 4 of them live on the 4 flat parts of the 2 upward arcs, or arches. Yeah. And then one exists in the smaller middle one, and one exists on like the base. So there's 6 total. But pretty much to put it simply, the entire structure is basically a broken. It's a core that's like split in half. Of a dead god, pretty much. But yeah, it's basically a bunch of little people that exist on this giant structure that's made of bone. That was originally meant to house, or to protect the core of this giant god that is long dead now. So now they all just live on the bones. Yeah. And then the long giant like ramp almost road that connects both of the flat parts. I'll just show you a picture of it. That's what it is. But yeah. So so there's like 4 tribes that live on the flat parts, and there's one that lives in the middle, and then one that lives on the base, and yeah. And there's holes that exist on the road thing, that are filled with, oh, excuse me, that are filled with basically beings that are kind of that are based on like trail mix ingredients, so like raisins, cashews, cranberries. Probably add other types of berries as well. Um, different types of nuts as well. Uh, chocolate chips, things like that, right? But they all exist in these giant pits, pretty much. But they're all sleeping, so pretty much to move from tribe to tribe, you have to be quiet, basically. So yeah, I mean, I guess when I say it out loud, it's kind of it would basically the entire thing would kind of give it like a horror vibe a little bit, but but yeah, and you could have everyone have like kind of domains or whatever that, or now they all use like barrier magic or something that they cast around themselves so that they can fight without making sound around them. Um, and then yeah, but you could have like some people that like trick others and they start fighting, but then they close the domain real quick so then the other person makes noise and that attracts the people in the holes and they start making noise and then they call them out and they attack the person that's making the noise and blah blah blah. Or you could even have people that like basically trick people by attaching like things that make noise onto them secretly and then trigger it when they're near a hole or they kick them into a hole and they trigger the noise thing and boom boom now they're dead. um but yeah. uh okay, that was the second thing I wrote. The first thing I did was this hierarchy thing for for the wolf thing. So at the bottom you have piggies. Well, at the bottom you have like fairy tale creatures, and the fairy tale creatures are piggies that essentially defected from like the whole like wolf hierarchy thing. And piggies are essentially each wolf has three piggies, and the piggies are each just one leg of the wolf. Yeah, and the wolves are in the form of people usually. So when you essentially fight them, they can turn parts of themselves into a wolf's body, and one of the parts can be, so like let's say like they turn their head into a wolf. They could like turn one of their arms into the remaining arm, or into the remaining arm, pretty much. you know, or they could have like a wolf tail and then like turn their tongue into a wolf. So basically, or turn their tongue into an arm, so a giant arm comes out their mouth or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then above that you have big wolves. Um, yeah. So then, yeah, basically wolves um come from the tail of a big wolf. So basically, like a um. So okay. So picture it like, think of a wolf, and then think of pretty much having three arms separated from its body, and those are the piggies. And then a big wolf having its tail separated from its body, and that's a wolf. And then you above that you have a big bad wolf, and then um, the tongue of that big bad wolf is a big wolf. And then you have a big bad evil wolf. I wasn't very creative with these names, by the way. I just kept going. I knew what I kind of wanted in the end, but I couldn't think of any creative names. Um, and then, yeah, so like the heart of a big bad evil wolf is a big bad wolf. Um, yeah, and the big bad evil wolf essentially would like, it ends up like running a continent. So piggies would kind of just be, um, they would essentially be above an entire city. So they would be above all the little woodland creatures, all the little fucked up woodland creatures of that city, and then they would kind of be the boss of that city. And then a wolf would be a boss of like a county, so like a group of cities, like two or three. And then um a big wolf would be the boss of like a state. And think of like the U.S. specifically, right? How things are structured here. Plus, that's the only way I know. That's the only structure I kind of know. I don't know how things are run in other countries. Um, and then Yeah, big wolves, they're state level basically, and then big bad wolves are country or no county. Wait, oh I wrote that twice. Fuck. Oh no, I meant country. I put county twice. I'm a dumbass. I meant to write country. Um, country, and then big bad evil wolf is continent level. Um, yeah. So then above the big bad evil wolf, you then have other big bad evil wolves that rule over the six other continents. And then I have like little jaws that are around. Hold on, let me just show you. So there's that. And it goes there. And then it goes there. And there's jaws around that one. You see? Yeah. But yeah. And there's jaws around that which represent like a bigger evil pretty much. Um Yeah, but I think I want to change the big evil instead of it being control to just being desire, pretty much. Because the point is that it's an evil that you can never that will never truly go away. It's not necessarily evil as in like it just is evil, but evil as in like it's the counter to everything, pretty much. But I don't know, evil as in like the people are trying to defeat it, but eventually you realize like, and that's I guess it essentially goes for everyone in the world, but eventually you realize that you can never really defeat control or desire. You just have to let go. um yeah, basically like Buddhism, but yeah, like a sense of self, you know what I mean. But that's it pretty much. But I wrote these down pretty much. I think I'm still working on the second one, but I wrote that down. And the real reason I wanted to make this entire video was I wrote it down and I just kind of took a little break, like a little minor break. Um, I was just laying here and I realized that, at least from my perspective, my body was like pulsing. Like I could feel my heart pulsing, and then um like my ears, and then my I don't know, it just felt as if I was essentially just being still. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry I burped again. But obviously your body is still moving. And then every time I do this, it reminds me of hearing about like the quietest room in the world where it has all those um excuse me again, sorry. Those sound absorbing triangle shaped things. One day I want to go do that. I want to go and try to do it, and eventually I want to just do it so much that I can stand it longer and longer and longer. But it's like a room that like no one can really exist in for a long period of time because it'll kind of drive you mad because of how quiet it is. You start feeling everything in your body pretty much, you know. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very interesting feeling when that happens. You can feel your heart and your just your body in general pulsing. It's interesting, you know. But that's it. Bye bye. Um, thank you for listening.